We are live at Reggie's World Sports, and I am Reggie, and I'm going to give you guys some sports topics on this episode. Today, we're going to be talking about the LeBron James to the Philadelphia 76ers trade that shocked the world. We're going to get into that. I'm going to give you my thoughts on did LeBron make the right decision? Is Philly really the best option for LeBron James? And how does Philly stack up in the Eastern Conference? I'm gonna give you my thoughts on that decision from LeBron James and the Philadelphia 76ers. We're also going to talk about the Atlanta Hawks trading the former number one overall pick Zachary Ricochet to the Dallas Mavericks in a three-team deal. And once the Hawks got back Lou Dort, I'm gonna give you my thoughts on that move with the Hawks, what they were able to why were they able to move on from Zachary Ricochet. I'm gonna give you my thoughts on the Zachary Ricochet era and just my opinion on that. And we're gonna talk a little Atlanta Falcons. Should Atlanta Falcon fans truly be excited about the Falcons this season? Should Falcon fans be hyped about this year's Falcons? We're gonna get into that as well. And also, there's a chat, and so I would love for you guys to comment, like, subscribe, on this episode, and talk in the chat. I'll respond, and so keep coming, man. Get up, send y'all comments into that chat as well. And with that out of the way, uh, you guys already know what it is. LeBron James made his decision earlier today, and he's going to the Philadelphia 76ers. He signed a 2-year, $8 million contract, player option in the second year, and he's going to the Sixers. And it is a move that shocked the world, and it shocked me because I did not see this coming. I did a YouTube episode earlier today about LeBron's decision. Y'all can check that out when y'all get a chance. And so y'all can watch that video. I gave you my thoughts on that, but I'm gonna also give you my thoughts on LeBron on this episode, man. And like I said, man, I'm very, very, very shocked by what LeBron did, and I'm gonna bring you a guest to talk about this with me. And Sean, come
Yeah.
on
What's
in.
going on? What's going on, man?
What's going on, Sean? Welcome to the show.
Thank you,
Uh,
man. Your first live show, man. How does it feel?
it feels awesome.
Nice,
It
nice.
feels very awesome. Uh, it's great, man. But yeah, as you know, LeBron James made his decision to go to the Philadelphia 76ers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm shocked.
Yeah,
Are you shocked?
yeah, no. A lot of people was not expecting that. I know we did our little pre-show last night. I did say he was probably gonna pick a team that nobody saw coming, but I didn't have 76ers in my card. You know, I, we had talked about the Timberwolves based off your old video, but he
Yeah.
he kind of he surprised all of us. I said he's going to probably make a big old spectacle of it. Going to make a big old event. Going to be some big TV programming and everything. No, we
Right.
got exactly what I said we wasn't going to get. They put out the tweet that he's going to the 76ers, and everybody from there in the basketball world, I guess, lost their minds after that. I
Yeah.
definitely, if he was going to stay in the East, I would have rather seen him go to. I would rather seen him go back to Cleveland, finish up in the town he grew up in,
Right.
or the Heat. Those seemed like the options that made sense. So that's where I stand with that right now.
Okay. For me, I was shocked as I stated in the intro about him going to Philadelphia. But as I've had some time to think about it, I understand why LeBron James chose Philly because really he's choosing between three imperfect options. Like I don't think Philly, I don't think Miami or Cleveland is a strong LeBron fit. When I look at Cleveland's roster, like yeah, yeah, I get coming home would have been a great story for the media to talk about him playing his last 1 or 2 years in Cleveland. But I look at our team, and if the goal is to compete for a championship, I look at Cleveland's roster with LeBron, and I don't see the fit. Like I don't know if James Harden and LeBron fit together. Because they both kind of need the ball in their hands. They're both the best with the ball in their hands. There was a rumor earlier today that like LeBron's camp wanted the Cavs to trade for Kyrie Irving, and neither Dallas or Cleveland was interested in that. And so it just it short of that, like I didn't love the fit. Like defensively, they're not a good. The perimeter defense would have been lacking. Uh, Offensively, not enough shooting with Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. So the fit would have been a little wonky in Cleveland, and in Miami, like yeah, LeBron's played there before, but I look at Miami, and while the defensive infrastructure would have been nice, yeah, you have Giannis and you have Bam Adebayo and you have Andrew Wiggins and Donovan and Davion Mitchell, but offensively they're lacking in shooting. And so I could see LeBron looking at those two teams and thinking, man, I don't know how I will fit with those two teams, even if they're great organizations. And so I think he looked at Philly, and I just think you look at the talent on Philly, and it's easy to be seduced with the talent with Philly when you look at Tyrese Maxey, who was a third team All NBA level player. He had a great year, averaged over 26 points a game. You have VJ come a young guard who's, kind of emerged, who was first team all rookie, he averaged over 16 points a game. They just traded for Jalen Brown just 2-3 weeks ago, who's a all-star, all NBA player. And then you have Joel Embiid, who's the wild card. And so who's also a guy that, like, when he's healthy, and that's a big if, but he's a guy that's one of the best centers in the league, who's an MVP candidate, toothy. And I think LeBron just looked at that and just said, man, I get to join this stack team with this level of talent. And I can see why he chose that team. But I think Cleveland, I think Philadelphia is there's a lot of ways where this could go wrong for LeBron in Philadelphia. And I look at Philadelphia's team, and my two questions with Philadelphia is number one, like Joel Embiid. Like, is this dude gonna be healthy? He's
Mm-hmm.
This past season he only played 38 games. And this is a guy that's had knee problems. It's especially recently. There was a time where we didn't even know that Joel Embiid would ever be the same guy. Coming back from his little knee issue, he had surgery on it. I think it was a year and a half ago. And so that the health thing with Embiid scares me, and I think it's a big risk. If he's not healthy, I don't see how Philly is going to contend for a title.
Well,
I
also,
just
yeah, and they're playing with a. I mean, LeBron isn't like his early 20s no more either. So you got all these.
right.
It looks good on paper right now, but yeah, you got all these injury-prone players per se. Does this really strengthen Philly's chance of being the top contender with all these
Right.
health issues? So I mean, you bring up a good point, but going back to what you said earlier, so it sounds like you think LeBron wanted to go. It sounds like the 76ers was more like a last option choice. Like maybe his two preferred teams off top were Cleveland and the Heat, but it just didn't work out. So he was like, all right, I'm going to go to the 76ers. I don't know.
I think he would have went to Cleveland or Miami if one of those two teams would have made a move.
Mm-hmm.
Cleveland would have traded for Kyrie Irving. If they would have traded James Harden for Kyrie Irving, LeBron might have gone to Cleveland, or it would have made a move to get, because the names that were bandied about that LeBron reportedly wanted was Anthony Irving, and it felt like neither Cleveland or Miami wanted to oblige. And I can, but I think those probably would have been LeBron's first options. And I think if that was he looked at Philly's talent, and I think he looked at how he would fit on that team. And I can understand it. Like I can understand why he chose Philly in that regard. And look, Philly talent, but my other concern I have with Philly, outside of the Embiid injury concerns, is like who on that team is going to sacrifice? Because there's a lot of guys that need the ball that want to score. Jalen Brown, like one of the reasons why I think Boston kind of wanted to move on from him outside of his contract was like he wants to be a top number one option. Now he's going to Philly, and it's basically him and Tyrese Maxey is probably the top two options on the team. And then you have Embiid. And so you have those three guys that kind of want the ball, need the ball, that's used to having the ball in their hands. You got VJ Epscombe, who's a young senior guard who, look, man, when it comes to young, especially for a top three pick, which is what he was last year, he's a guy that wants to establish himself as like I'm a young emerging star guard in the league. And so he's probably going to want the ball. And then you have LeBron coming in. Now, to LeBron's credit, the last year, the second half of last year, he kind of sacrificed his game a little bit towards Luka and Austin Reed. I think that worked out pretty well until Luka got injured, and then it just all came apart for the Lakers in the playoffs. But I just wonder who's going to sacrifice, who's going to do the dirty work, who's going to play defense. Don't worry about scoring the ball all the time. And so those are things I have some concerns about with LeBron and his fit with the Philadelphia Sixers. But at the end of the day, I mean, you can't deny that Philadelphia got talent. They upgraded their talent. And I said, you agree with me on this, Sean. The Philadelphia Sixers went to this offseason with Paul George and Joel Embiid and getting swept by the New York Knicks in the playoffs. They were lost in really bad fashion. They lost by like 40 points or something like that. And so I didn't think very highly of Phillies when they lost. But for them to turn Paul George into Jaylen Brown and James, essentially, I mean, if I'm a Philadelphia 76er fan, man, like I'm praying in the streets of Philadelphia. I'm celebrating. I'm screaming. Like
Yeah, it's a step forward. Yeah, especially you mentioned the playoffs, which we like to remind everybody when it came to the playoffs, Atlanta Hawks were the only Eastern Conference team to beat the Knicks twice.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hang the banner.
Right, exactly. But yeah, no, it's definitely. I mean, like I said, on paper it looks good right now. Yeah, it's definitely an upgrade. Because I think Paul George, I know you know more than me about this. He's had his share of injuries and things as well.
Yeah.
So the whole the injury prone issue. I mean, I guess the injuries are still there, but on paper they did improve. It's like a 2-for-1 deal, basically.
Absolutely. Yeah. And also like and LeBron, to me, he doesn't go to Philly if Jaylen Brown isn't there.
True, agree.
And so,
I think that's the only reason. Yeah. I think that's.
I think they played. I think when Jaylen Brown came there, I think they probably looked at LeBron probably looked at it and said, "Oh, okay, now they have something."
Yeah.
And so, look, it's gonna be fun. Like I think there's a lot of downside potential with Philadelphia, but there's some upside. With how that team could look, and so it's gonna be fun on that team to see how they look moving forward into the season. And look, I'm a Philadelphia 76er fan. Like, hey, I mean, I'm excited. Like, LeBron James is playing on my team, and I have a chance to the NBA Finals and possibly win the championship. So, good luck to Philly. And speaking of basketball, the next topic we're going to talk about is Zachary Risacher. The Atlanta Hawks earlier this did a trade in which they traded Zachary Risacher to the in a 3-team dealing with Dallas Mavericks get Zachary Ricochet, and the Hawks get Lou Dort of the Oklahoma City Thunder. And the Oklahoma City Thunder get back 3 second-round picks. And this was also surprised about this move. I was kind of more surprised by the timing of uh trading on, moving on from Zachary Ricochet. And this is it was necessary. Like the Hawks had to move on from Zachary Ricochet. I if anyone's following me on Twitter, I've said this for months regarding Zachary Ricochet that it was not going to work. Hawks. I just for a multitude of reasons, I didn't see him to get real minutes on the team long term, and also with Zach, I think the thing that I think with Zachary Ricochet is when the Hawks drafted him, and 2 years ago, coming into a team that had a little bit of a clean slate because they moved on from DeJounte Murray. You're trying to retool the team around Trae Young. There's a bunch of guys that you just kind of didn't know what they had. Like they traded for Dyson Daniels, and at that time we didn't know what Dyson Daniels really was to fit in on the team. You had DeAndre Hunter, and you were trying to move on from him. You had Clint Capella, you had Bogey, you had all guys. And then eventually you end up moving on from pretty much all of these guys. And then comes in, he has a little moment second half of the year, he gets better. But then you fast forward to this season, and they bring in Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Dyson emerges. He in 2025 year, he wins most improved player. So you realize that this dude is one of the best perimeter defenders in the league, and he's improving on offense. And so you have Dyson, who's established himself this past season. You bring in Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and now all of a sudden, Nickeil is averaging 20 points a game. And you look at Nickeil Alexander-Walker, he's doing the things that you drafted Zachary Ricochet to do, which is be a 3-and-D guard who can play defense and score off closeouts and create a little bit. And so you're getting in Nickeil Alexander-Walker, you're getting a Zachary Ricochet in a smaller package. And with Dyson Daniels, and then eventually they trade for Jonathan Kuminga. And so you have in Kuminga, Dyson Daniels, and Nickeil Alexander-Walker. You have 3 guys who are basically doing the things that Zachary Ricochet was drafted to do, and all of them do the Zachary Ricochet type of things better than Zachary Ricochet did them. And so that to me, I thought that played a part in why I thought Ricochet moving along with the fact that I don't think Ricochet just didn't improve. He didn't get better in year 2. He stalled out. He didn't improve as a player. He didn't get his ball handling, didn't improve. His shooting was up and down. He still needs to get stronger. And so it just kind of became a point where the Hawks Zachary Ricochet, what the Hawks had on their team and how they changed up the team. I didn't even mention this. They traded Trae Young. I got to mention that. and I thought that kind of happened. And you lose the best in elite player like Trae. I think that kind of hurts his game a little bit as well. And so it just felt like the situation where Ricochet just wasn't there for him anymore, along with him not just progressing as a player. And you had all of those factors in. I just think I move on from them, and I think they're right to do it. And as I bring in Sean into the conversation,
Yes, sir.
uh, do you think the Atlanta Hawks made the right decision to moving on from Zach Ricochet?
Yeah, they
And how
did.
do you feel about what they got back?
Well, to answer your first question,
how do you feel about?
yeah. To answer your first question, they did make the right decision. I mean, there's a problem when you're in the playoffs, and your former number 1 pick isn't getting any minutes. And number 1, he's not starting, and then he's sitting on the bench, coming off the bench, and then he's come off the bench for a limited time. And then I think for the rest of the games, he wasn't even on the I guess team lineups of people that was going to be on the subs. Yeah. So
Yeah.
they did make the right decision. The fact that they had to make that decision, I don't know if that's. I guess that says more about the previous regime because those were the people
Right.
that drafted him. It's just disappointing, especially if you're a Hawks fan, because for years we've been talking about getting top picks so we can finally get that next superstar. We
Right.
tried to do it with Trey Young, it didn't work out. He ended up getting traded. And then when we got the opportunity for another first round pick to maybe get another superstar to go with Trey. Number one, the draft that year was pretty weak, and then
Yes.
the options were pretty limited. And I think the other big guy that everybody was talking about, Alex Sarr,
Yep.
apparently he didn't even want to come here. He wanted to go to Washington, and so
Yeah.
I mean, it goes into the old history of Atlanta. When it comes to Atlanta sports, we can't have nice things. We finally got a number one draft pick. We end up getting Zachary Reese-Shea, and nothing comes from it. So now, he's in Dallas. Your second question: do you think that the trade, was a good move and that we'll benefit from it? I don't know too much about Lou Dort, but from what you described, what he brings, it definitely kind of fits what the Hawks are trying to do now. They're trying to be a more defensive team under Quinn Snyder. He's good with defense, and then I think you mentioned he's good with rebounding, which is important because we need to, really dominate that paint. I know we got
Yeah.
Okongwu, but I still don't really
Yeah.
consider him a true center, even though he be doing his thing sometime, but we don't have like a
Right.
dominant big man. So
Right. Right.
overall, yeah, the Hawks made the right move. It's unfortunate they had to make that move, but this plays into going out with the old regime, and now Ansi Salah, Quinn Snyder, they can really build their team up how they really want and get the players they really want on the
Absolutely.
roster.
Yep.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's how I think about that.
Yeah, absolutely. And for Lou Dort, uh, the one thing that I think he's going to bring to the Hawks, and I think something that we're seeing with the Hawks is they're a defensive first team. Like they've become a defensive first team. Like
Mm-hmm.
you add in Lou Dort and you have Dyson Daniels and you have Nikhil Alexander Walker and you draft Kingston Flemings, who probably is gonna probably play eventually. You drafted a number 8. He's a good defender. He was pretty good in the summer league defensively. So you add him.
Mm-hmm.
You have a Kongwu. Like you guys, they added Aaron Wiggins. Like you got some defenders. And I think this team is going to be a really good defensive team, and they're going to hang their hat on that in playing defense, being physical,
Mm-hmm.
and try to punk these guys. Like the last 3 games of the Knicks series, the Hawks got punked by the Knicks. You know
Yeah, they did.
they did, and the one thing about Lou Dort is he's an agitator. He's one of those Dylan Brooks type of guys where
Okay.
he's gonna agitate you. He's gonna annoy you.
Yeah.
He'll commit some flagrant fouls every now and then, and that's what he's gonna do. Like, and so I think that'll benefit the Hawks. Offense is a little shaky. Like he's a his 3-point shooting has been up and down. It was down this past season. He shot 34% from three, but his previous 2 years he shot 39% and 40% from three. So his shooting is a little up and down, a little
Mm-hmm.
streaky. Outside of that, he doesn't really do much else on offense. But look, man, like if you're comparing Shea to Lou Dort, you're getting a guy you're moving on from a guy that you barely played the second half of the year and definitely didn't play him in the playoffs, and you trade him and you get a fringe all NBA perimeter defender.
Oh,
And so
that's a
that's
win. That's a win number one right there.
yeah, and he's on an aspiring contract. And with the Hawks, like they got all these guys on these aspiring deals, like, they're set up pretty nicely to make a big move for a star if they want to go that route, depending on which star is available. Anthony Edwards.
Yeah.
We'll see.
We still
Well,
got
that's
one
the
of them.
that's the dream. That's the dream. I don't know if that's gonna be a reality next season, but yeah, man, the Hawks are set up pretty nicely to make a move if they want to go that route. But I like what the Hawks are doing. Some good things. There's a lot to look forward to.
Mhm.
Looking forward to seeing Jalen Johnson. I'm seeing some Instagram clips of him. He's working really hard, with his trainer Chris Johnson.
Okay.
So, I'm looking forward to see what Jalen Johnson is going to add to his game because uh, for the Hawks need him. They need him to take
So,
another leap.
y'all about to say. Speaking of him, so is he the man now? Basically, is this his team? Is he the face of the franchise? Is that how you
We'll
feel?
see. We'll see.
We'll see. I'm asking you. Do you think
Uh,
he that's got to
we
be the
we
guy now?
he, he has some what he does this coming season is gonna tell a lot. He had a good year.
Okay.
He had a good year. He had a good. He made an all. He made an all-star team.
True.
He made an all NBA team. He didn't really play his best in the playoffs.
Agreed.
He struggled in the playoffs. But look, man, there's been great players that have struggled in the playoffs.
Yeah, that was like his
And
first experience of it
yeah,
too, right? Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
And there's been guys that's bounced back and they've evolved and they've improved. Even great players that are greater that are a lot greater than him, like Giannis and even LeBron. To a stronger degree. Even though, like, look, man, I don't want to care. I don't want to compare Jalen Johnson to LeBron. I don't want to get ahead of myself. But there's been great players that have had tough goings at it in the playoffs, and they've evolved and they've improved. And so, I think Jalen Johnson. I think this season's a big year for him. If he makes a real leap and he ascends himself into being like one of the top 10, 12, 15 players in the league, and he's making another All NBA team, things will the narrative will change on him, and we will in the Hawks we will have to look at him as a franchise player, but there's a lot he's gonna have
wait
to
and
prove
see.
on. We're wait and see mode, but I like him. I believe in Jalen Johnson, but he's got to do it out there on the court moving forward this coming season. Which brings me to my third topic on this episode. Today we're gonna get into the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons training camp is right around the corner. We're about a week and a half away. I think maybe about a week away. Maybe a week away. I might be wrong. About a week away from training camp,
Yeah,
and
yeah, definitely. I think
about
it
a week
begins
away
on
from
the 31st or something. I have to check it. I think end of July is when I think they
yeah.
usually started.
Yeah, so training camp is right about a week away from training camp, and so my question about these Atlanta Falcons is: should the Atlanta Falcon fans be excited about the Atlanta Falcons? They've had we're now 8 consecutive losing seasons. I've nicknamed the Atlanta Falcons the eat, sleep, breathe the eat, sleep, breathe losing Falcons. That's been my nickname for them when I do YouTube clips on YouTube episodes about them because they just find ways to break my heart and lose. It doesn't matter how they do it, but they lose. And they did some things this offseason. Some things I've liked. Some things I've been pleased with, but there's a one big question mark about the Falcons, and you know what I'm talking about. It's about the quarterback. And
Yep,
so
yep.
I'm just asking, like, should Falcon fans be excited about the Atlanta Falcons this coming year?
Well, so listen, what do you like so far that they've done? Because you said there's some things you do like. So what have they done that you like?
I like their draft.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
like the Zach. I like the them drafting the Terrell brother, Alfred Terrell. Terrell, I think that's his name. Alvin,
Avion. Avion.
Avion. Yeah,
Yeah, Avion
I
Terrell.
I I like that they draft him. Having him, we needed a cornerback, and it's cool that you have your brother, AJ Terrell's brother, as your two bookend corners, and so I think that's cool. I'm really intrigued with their third round pick, Zachariah Branch, the guy from Georgia. Really intrigued with him. Uh, because I've been begging for the Falcons to get some speed at wide receiver. This guy has a lot of potential. I saw some clips earlier, you know, about a month and a half ago, him beating AJ Terrell on a deep post route. That was exciting. He's been getting some Tyreek Hill comparisons from certain fans. I don't want to put that too much pressure on him on that front, but like he has some talent and he has that deep speed. I know Tua compared him to Jalen Waddle, and so like we the Falcons have needed that type of receiver, and so I like what they did on that front. Uh, I like I know a lot of people kind of question the Kevin Stefanski hire. I was good with Kevin Stefanski being a coach. I'm just one of those dudes where I'm like, man, this dude had 2 winning seasons in Cleveland. The Cleveland Browns have had 4 winning seasons in 20 plus years. Like 4 winning seasons in 20 years. And this dude is responsible for 2 of them. And if you can win in Cleveland, you can win 2 wins, 2 winning seasons in Cleveland should count for like 8 total. And so I like Kevin Stefanski as a coach. I like that they added some depth pieces at the cornerback position. Like I said, man, like I've liked what the Falcons have done for the most part. But at the end of the day, it's about the quarterback position when it comes to the Falcons, man. And I'm just Tua and Michael Penix. I don't know, man. I like everything else about the Falcons. I like their draft. Bijan Robbins is the best running back in the game.
Oh yeah.
I think Drake London is continuously underrated. Every time I look at these wide receiver rankings, he's never in the top 10. I don't understand it. I don't get it.
It's gonna be that way because
He's
given the
always like
Falcons, it's the Falcons.
he's like outside the top 10 every time I look at a wide receiver ranking.
Yeah,
I don't get it.
they get biased. It's all about the team overall. So like, if he was
Yeah.
on Philly or the Rams, he would be ranked higher. It's
Yeah.
because he's on the Falcons, and we haven't
Yeah.
been performing well for, like you said, 8 seasons, which is crazy. Like
Yeah.
we've seen teams, like Philadelphia. They went to the Super Bowl after us, won it, fell off a little bit, rebuilt their whole team, win another one.
Yeah.
It's a few other teams got in the playoffs, had a little shift, and now they back in the mix. And it's like, geez, what do we be doing down here? So you mentioned the Stefanski hire. I wasn't like jumping out my seat, but
Right.
like you said, he has been a 2-time coach of the year. So, there is something to that, whether, especially coming from Cleveland, like they have a very dysfunctional front office. So he was able to make things work there. Of course, he had Baker Mayfield at the time. Once that whole fiasco happened with the Deshaun Watson thing, which thankfully I was rooting for, but I'm glad we didn't get because we've seen how that's playing out right now.
Yeah.
And kind of why Kevin Stefanski is probably here with us right now. Shout out to Matt Ryan, now the president of football,
Right.
franchise winning quarterback. He understands the game. The thing I like, one of the things I like is maybe Arthur Blank woke up and realized all these people that I've been having run my team that I've been spending all this money for, they don't really know what they're doing. These are just a bunch of corporate guys. At least now he's got like some people that's football minded. I know last year when he did the little press conference, he was talking about how, he had the audit and they was telling him about his team and how he can improve it. And, he was like, well, one thing that surprised me was that we didn't all have a consistent vision. And I'm like, how do you run an organization where everyone's not on the same page? So that was crazy to me. So, he already knew that something needed to be done. I think, he respects Matt Ryan a lot. Matt Ryan, he has that drive to want to win, and he's going to bring it to the front office. And I feel confident that at least front office, we have people that know what we're doing now. Stefanski, Ian Cunningham, he's been around some winning organizations, so he understands what it takes to build winning teams.
Absolutely.
And to get on, well, I'm gonna answer your first question. Should Falcons fans be excited? Now, Reggie,
Yes.
the way of Falcons life, you're always supposed to be excited
Right.
for the beginning of the season. This is the lifestyle of a Falcons fan. We're supposed to
Right.
get excited. Every year we're like, oh yes, we got the squad. We're really going to do something this year. We're going to turn it
Right.
around. And
Right.
then, like you said, they hit that little point where they flip up on you. Then they
Yeah.
start channeling that eat, sleep, breathing, losing
Yeah.
mentality.
Yeah.
And then that's when we get disappointed. So
Yeah.
it's part of the lifestyle. So that's the only way you can be a Falcons fan. You have to be excited
Right.
for the season. You
Right.
gotta believe. You mentioned the quarterbacks. I'm with you. That on paper that seems like the big concern right now.
Is there a way we can kidnap Joe Burrow from the Bengals?
That's not happening. But I mean, you speak of him. He's had his history with injuries as well.
Yeah,
So,
that's true. That's true. That's
we're
true.
talking about Tua and Penix.
That's true.
People's
That's
concern
true.
with Michael Penix,
Yeah, that's a good point.
Uh,
You're right. You're right.
and like as we said last night on the pre-show, Penix, I definitely want him to be the franchise guy just for the sake of the long term. I don't want to keep going. We've already been since when Matt Ryan left, like 23 or whatever.
2021.
21. Yeah, okay, even
So
longer.
5 years ago.
And we've been back and forth trying to figure out this quarterback thing. So, I mean, we drafted Penix number 8.
Actually, you know what? Was it 21? I think it was 21.
21 or 22 because he did 1 year under Arthur Smith before.
Yeah, it was 21. Yeah, it was
Okay,
2021. Yeah, it was. And then he went to the Colts, and then it just went. You know what?
Yeah, that was. Yeah, we. But yeah, back to Penix. I want him to work out. Tua, sure he can come in and fill in. I feel like depending on how Penix is when training camp starts, Tua might be the shoe-in starting quarterback at the beginning. Because
I think he would. I think he's going to start
the whole season, or you think the beginning?
I think he's going to start until he plays bad or gets injured.
Oof.
Like if he like he's going to start, and then if he's injured or he plays awful, then they'll go to Penix. But if he's playing consistently well, then he might play throughout. Like it's kind of a toss up. But knowing the history of this team and knowing the history of these two players, I would bet that both of them end up playing.
So do you think Tua starts over Penix because Penix isn't ready yet as far as health wise, or because he's better?
A little bit of both. I do think Tua's better because I just think he fits with what Stefanski probably wants. I think he's been more accurate in his career. I think that's something that Stefanski values, and I think with Penix, he hasn't proven himself to be a consistently accurate quarterback, or consistent. And he just hasn't proven himself. And considering that, like, he spent part of the offseason rehabbing and Tua's probably spent the offseason just developing.
Mm-hmm.
I just think Tua has the edge as far as like mentally being ready.
Yeah, I see. Now, I mean, we've seen the videos, which also gets me into, I said yesterday, Zach Robinson and Raheem Morris should be charged with criminal charges for how they handled Michael Penix's development. Last season, they had him in the pistol formation the whole time. They was talking about he wasn't comfortable taking snaps under center. They had a third-string right tackle out there blocking for him while, he got these receivers on these long routes. And so it possibly contributed to him being injured, number one, because the defense can protect you so easily. And, Zach Robinson didn't do a good job of getting creative, and then we don't know what Raheem was doing other than chewing that gum and looking at the Halo screen the whole time. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's finding the way. That's what he was doing, but they found a way up out of there. But I'm looking this season, which already tells me much of what I need to know about Stefanski and them. They came in here. They got him taking snaps, working on his taking snaps under center, and it looks like they're really trying to develop him. And
Right.
so,
Yep.
I I think number one, I really want Penix to get the job. If he doesn't get it right away, I think it'll be because he's not healthy yet. But I think he can be better than Tua. That's my
Yeah, he could be. He could be.
That's how
I
I feel
could.
about that.
He could be. He could be. Man. I want a quarterback so badly, man. All these years, the last time I've truly been excited about the last time I truly was excited about the Atlanta Falcons was 8 years ago, 2018. That was the last year I was like, and ironically, that was the year they didn't make the playoffs, but they drafted they drafted Calvin Ridley that year to go at Julio.
Oh.
That was last year. Ever since then, my enthusiasm and excitement for the Falcons have just been they've come crashing down every year. And I wanted to get that excitement back a couple of years ago when they had Kirk Cousins and they got out to that little nice start and
Yeah.
they beat Tampa and he was swat surfing. Like that was fun. But
Kirk
that
O'Shane's.
that that felt like the peak of Falcons football
It was definitely the
throughout
peak
throughout of the 2020s.
for the Raheem Morris
The Raheem Morris,
era.
Arthur Smith era, like that was the peak of when they beat Tampa and Kirk Cousins was swat surfing. That was a fun time, but it hasn't been enough of it. It hasn't been enough of it.
We would have got some of that with Penix this year, but like I said, it was criminal how they had him out there playing this year, and he ended up getting injured that Carolina game, which I was at in person. I seen that live, and I was like,
oh
yeah, we was actually winning that game going into the half, and then it started going downhill, and I was like, they about to let these fools come back. We done seen how this played before, so I had got to witness all of that. So yeah, I'm still. I haven't given up on Penix yet. People talk about the injury. I do want to point out there that, prior for this recent injury, he had played 2 consecutive seasons at Washington. And then, last year, of course, he was backing up Kirk Cousins, so he didn't get that much play time. But, he stayed healthy last year as well. So, I think Penix, once he gets back healthy, he can, if he's utilized right and, they properly protect him and develop him right, he can prevent a lot of those injuries that come for people just, when they got to get out there and milk it and try to figure out what to do because they don't have the competent coaching or whatever.
yeah, we'll see. I mean, the coaching upgrade should help. There's no denying that. Zach Robinson's in Tampa Bay, by the way, so he's going to be in our division. So that'd be interesting.
Good. Good for us.
That'd be interesting. But yeah, man. We'll see. We'll see how it comes when it comes to the quarterback situation. It'd be nice if the Falcons had a solid, average quarterback play. Or for me, I want above average quarterback play. If we just had competent quarterback play, this team could be really good. They could win. They could make the playoffs and break their playoff drought.
So when you say competent, are we talking Case Keenum in the what was the Minnesota Miracle where he dropped that dime to Stephon Diggs in the overtime?
You know what?
I mean, Case Keenum, he ain't no like superstar, but
I'll take that. I'll take Case. I'll take peak Case Keenum. I'll take that.
Or I even throw Nick Foles out there. Nick Foles,
I'll take that too.
Super Bowl run. He stepped in there, got him through the
That'd be
Super
great too.
Bowl.
That
Yeah.
that would that'd be great too. I'll take on a high end. I'll take Jared Goff.
Okay.
Like he's had 3 nice years with the Detroit Lions. Like, give me him. I'll
Okay.
take him.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Um. Shoot. I mean, and as far as you know, you say you like the Terrell brothers. Defense wise, I think we look good too. That's something to be excited about. Defense.
Absolutely. Yeah, the defense, man. It's a lot of this. Is the most talent the Falcons have had on defense in I gotta say over like 20 years. Like we got to go back to the Mike Vick era when they had uh Patrick Kearney, Rod Coleman,
Mm-hmm.
D'Angelo Hall, Keith Brooking, like that. Like this team has talent on defense, man. Like you got Jalen Walker,
Yeah.
James Pierce, Braden Dorless, the Devon Diablo. I think that's his name. Yeah, that line. He was really good before he had his little injury. I like him in the secondary. I think the secondary has a chance to be special. Like when you have Jesse Bates, you have Xavier Watts, you have the Terrell brothers, you have Billy Bowman. Like that, this defense has talent, and so like there's so much potential in this team for it all to mesh. But we gotta figure out that quarterback situation, man. Like we just do. If we had a quarterback, stability at quarterback,
Yeah.
this team could they could make a deep playoff run if they had stability at quarterback. But it will wait and see. But man, it was a good episode, good
Yeah.
live. I appreciate the people that are watching this channel that watch this episode.
Well, let me see.
It was fun.
We got some
We,
comments up in here. Let me see.
who's in the chat?
Let's see. Let me see when we pop up. We got Find a Malik Gainer 45. It says Bron might get a free ride to the chip. Guess that's regarding the
Okay.
76ers trade. I guess so.
Okay.
He thinks probably Jalen Brown is going to be carrying the team, and LeBron is just like kind of the backup guy.
Okay.
Leech off of him.
Okay.
Let's
We'll see about that.
Antonio Tucker, I9W. He wants LeBron. It says you should have been a Warrior. I guess he wanted you, Reggie, to go play for the Golden State Warriors. Actually, he said he. So yeah, he wanted LeBron to go to the Golden State Warriors.
It's interesting. My only problem with the Warriors is like they're old. Like their best players are old. Steph's 8. Draymond's 36. Porzingis. I mean, look, man, I'll be shocked if that dude plays 5 games. And so I don't, look. LeBron and Steph would have been fun. I get it. It's just that man, that team is old, and I think Golden State's days are just behind them. But that would definitely would have been interesting. But yeah, man, it was good being on the podcast. It was good being on a live.
Oh
It was
yeah.
fun. It was
I'm just looking through the
exciting.
conversations. Let's see. We
Great.
got Pretty percent says great draft pick by the Hawks. Zachary Richards has the length, shooting touch, and defensive ability to impact both ends of the floor. His future in the NBA is bright.
Who said this?
Pretty percent. It might be bright. It won't be bright with the Hawks though, cause we done got rid of him. He's up out of here. Let's see. J Kyle 1208 says the offense has been shaky is an understatement. That's a 7.8 on the Richter scale. So this is talking about how the Hawks offense has been this season. I guess
Okay.
it's been very back and forth. What you think?
About the Hawks offense?
Yeah, because basically he really believes the Hawks offense is like definitely suspect.
They need a score. I think they're a score. They need a top tier score. Like that's the one thing they're like. It's funny because we talk about the Falcons and like how the roster they like if they only had a quarterback. I
Mm-hmm.
look at the Hawks and I'm like, man, if only they had like a tier one superstar score.
Yeah.
Like if they had like a if Anthony Edwards was on his team, we could go to the finals. But we're and this is where I get back to like I'm mad at the NBA for not allowing the Hawks to get a top four pick because AJ DeBanza or Darren
Oh yeah.
Peterson
Yeah.
or even Caleb Wilson on the Hawks would have been magic. But
Yeah.
look, we'll see with Kingston Flemings. I like Kingston Flemings. I don't want to disrespect him. I like him, but I don't know if he's gonna. I don't know if he's gonna be on the level of those guys that I mentioned. And he could still be really good. But the Hawks need a top tier score.
Yeah.
Like they do, and luckily for the Hawks, they're well positioned with like the contracts and flexibility and assets that they have. They're well positioned to trade for that guy eventually. But that's what's missing on this team at the moment. They had that.
Or Jalen
Well,
Johnson steps up and becomes the
e- I,
guy.
I'll be honest. I'll be honest. I'll be honest. Even with Jalen Johnson,
Yeah.
I still think they could use another score. The thing
Got
the thing the thing is like with Jalen is like how good like if he's like top 10, 12 level player
you.
and he improves like his offensive confidence, his three-point shooting, his strength getting to the basket and aggression, like if he improves, then maybe the Hawks need like a little bit of a lower tier score instead of like a Anthony Edwards level score. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, but either way, I even with Jalen, even if he breaks it, I still think this team needs another score
Okay.
because CJ McCollum is as much as I like him and I'm glad he's back, but he's 35 years old. Like he's on his last legs.
Yeah.
You can't really depend on him to have a big role. So
Yeah.
I want to see this team get another score at some point.
I got you. Antonio I9W says rise up. So it looks like he's excited. We asked the question how excited
Yeah.
Fox fans be. Looks like he's excited.
Yeah.
We have Pretty Percent again. She's giving us a little info on Zachariah Branch, one of the fastest and most explosive playmakers in college football. He can make an impact as a receiver, return specialist, and on gadget plays. So,
Is she using Google?
or doing some ESPN Chat GPT or something going on here. The football knowledge is very, extensive here with this Pretty Percent. But yeah. So regarding that though, what do you think about Zachariah Branch? It says he can make impact as a receiver and a gadget guy.
I'm intrigued. Like the one thing I will say is like I've fallen for interesting prospects that intrigue me and it never comes to fruition. Like that's kind of happened a couple of times when it comes to the Falcons. But I am deeply intrigued with Zachariah Branch. Like for a third round pick, like
Yeah,
I've read some stuff about how like he wasn't really always utilized to his best at Georgia. Mike
yeah,
Bobo didn't use him correctly, and that when he was in high school he was used differently. And so I'm intrigued, man. Like he's the one guy. He's the one guy on this team where I'm like, man, like if he becomes a dude, he could change, life for the Falcons. So I've been angling for a deep threat receiver since Julio Jones.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
we need a burner.
And got another Georgia guy. That's been our thing for years. It was like, why don't we never draft these Georgia players? But then we got Jay Kyle, 1208. and this is referring to, we was talking about the quarterback. He says you can't be the franchise guy when you're trying to be a quarterback on 2 bent back paper clips. Ouch. So this is referring to Michael Penix, I think. Well, off the blank, he put out there, he said, the team or the doctors, wherever he had his surgery at, they claim they repaired the ACL and now it's stronger than it was before. So one of them paper clips now must be welded in with some premium metal or something on it.
Right.
What you think?
It's hard, man.
Is it true? It's hard to be a franchise quarterback when you already got bad knees. Like he's got an uphill battle.
He does. He does, man. Like Michael Penix, he has an uphill battle, man. Like there's a reason why that pick was criticized when it was made, and a big part of it was because of his injuries.
And you just gave somebody $100 million.
Yeah. like it's just, man. Like when that pick was made, man, I was stunned. I couldn't believe it, yeah. and I mean that in a negative way. Like I couldn't believe what the Falcons just did 2 years ago when they took him, and you had Kirk Cousins,
and still needed defense as well.
Yeah, it's crazy. Man.
Well, man, yeah. So,
but there you have it, folks. I appreciate it was a good live. I appreciate the supporters watching this episode. It was fun. We had some great conversations. We talked LeBron, Falcons, Hawks.
Yeah. What else you got going on as well? Dropping more videos soon.
Yeah, I will. I'm gonna probably drop a video at some point. I don't know when. Maybe I don't know when. It'll probably be sometime next week.
Okay.
Or who knows? Maybe Saturday or Sunday. I don't know. It depends on what's on my mind and what comes up. But I'm gonna drop something soon.
All right, cool. Yeah, man. So your first live show. Man, you did it.
It was awesome.
Yeah, man. So yeah, I guess make sure everybody comment,
share, subscribe, hit that subscribe button, man. I appreciate the support. I want keep the support coming, man. I appreciate adding some more subscribers, man. Keep the channel running.
Oh yeah, and the live show will be weekly, so we'll be back again next week with the live show.
Absolutely.
Hopefully. Yeah, man. Y'all get on here. Get some guests up on here. Yeah, man. All right, go ahead and close this thing out, Reggie.
I appreciate the support, man. It was a good live show, and I'll catch you guys in the next episode. Talk soon. Peace.